somebody hit me up and was saying they were looking for something, and it was for Shannon. It was like $150,000 brand ambassador thing, and it was for Shannon. And then they were like, it's not going to go for Shannon now. Wiley, you know anybody? And I was like, I had a thug tear, dog. I was like,
yeah,
that's just me. That Shannon is in a position right now where you're right. He has lost a lot.
Marcellus Wiley talks about Shannon Sharpe losing his sponsors. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
Just your full assessment of where Shannon Sharpe is right now in this lawsuit, Stephen A.
He's probably real happy that things are dying down a little bit.
Yeah,
so he's probably somewhere taking a deep breath, trying to figure out how to attack this thing next. He doesn't have a lot of options.
Yeah.
So, it's not like he can just go hop back on ESPN. Luckily his fan base is probably very loyal. The ones who are watching his nighttime shows are probably still watching the nighttime shows. Yep. But what he's going to run into is a problem going forward with people sponsoring the shows, and his money's going to take a hit some way or another.
Yeah, his money's already taken a hit. It's reported that he may have lost his sponsors or they may be suspended. DraftKings and Boost Mobile, they're no longer on the show. You don't see it in the corner of the videos. There's no advertising before his live podcast, and it's not in the description anymore. So he took a hit with those sponsors. We don't know if it's permanent or temporarily until they figure out what's going on. And he was in talks of possibly signing $100+ million deal with his media podcast. So he's taking a lot of hits, possibly hundreds of millions of dollars in projected revenue for his whole intellectual property and sponsors. So Shannon, he's going through it right now. He's pushing through. He's on nightcap after every game in the playoffs, so at least he's staying active, even though it's strategic by him stepping away from ESPN just to take time away and deal with the fam and get this whole thing ironed out. He couldn't be on the air with all those allegations with the audio and potential video that was going to be released and the text messages. So hopefully he can continue to build out Club Shay Shay and Nightcap, take it to new levels. He's having a lot of contributors on there, so people still rocking with him from a sports media perspective. But as far as sponsors and money, yeah, he's going to take a huge hit.
It probably just hasn't happened yet.
It's
a
happening.
thing called lagging indicators.
Ooh,
right?
Talk about it.
In the economy, certain things happen at a certain time, but you don't see the effects of it until later. So it's a lag on the cause and effect. His effect is going to lag, and that's probably not going to show for another couple of quarters or the new fiscal year when people's budgets come out and they're like, we can't put our money there.
I'll give you one example that's real. Somebody hit me up and was saying they were looking for something, and it was for Shannon. It was like $150,000 brand ambassador thing, and it was for Shannon. And then they were like, it's not going to go for Shannon now. Wiley, you know anybody? And I was like,
me.
No, I'm already in. So it was like, now I was like, I had a thug tear, dog. I was like,
yeah,
that's just me.
So that's just letting you know behind the scenes, people are reaching out like, yo, I may have a deal for Shannon. But with all the turmoil and crazy stuff going on in the media, the allegations, we're going to hold that $150,000. See if we can find somebody else or whatever the case may be. So by Marcellus saying that, think about how much money that his team is being lost as far as, hey, we had some for Shannon, but we're going to hold off on that. DraftKings, Boost Mobile, and other type of businesses that he was working with previously and companies he was projected to work with before all these crazy allegations and lawsuits. So that's letting you know, that's confirming that Shannon Sharpe is losing sponsors and potential sponsors in the near future.
People that, one, they ain't even hitting up, or two, they are hitting up. I'm like, how much Banco he done lost? Jay-Z said he lost $20 million through that month or two or whatever that he went through it.
Yep.
Oh, Jay-Z said he lost.
Yeah, he said he lost $20 million.
So I know you worked in politics for a while, so obviously you know what PACs are.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You get into Congress or whatever, then you have PACs.
I know Tupac.
When you get in Congress with those PACs, there's always going to be a PAC for whatever agenda you're pushing. So if you're for guns, there'll be people that put money in your PAC for that. If you're against guns, there'll be people that put money in your PAC for that. I say that to say with Shannon, as long as he's doing numbers on his platform, he's going to lose sponsors from some people. But there's always going to be somebody else who's willing to put that money up or sponsor him for that. So I think he'll be perfectly fine.
That's a good point because right now, everything's crashing. The house is burning. But yeah, some people, they're going to step away. But as long as he can persevere, keep his numbers up with Nightcap and Club Shay Shay, maybe get a random Cat Williams interview. Who knows? Maybe they can play off this situation and move forward within an actual conversation, an interview. So that could get people back on board. Like, okay, he still has major hitters on his show, major people still attending Club Shay Shay and Nightcap, still contributing to his platform. But if his numbers take a drop and he's just not really in it no more like that, that's where people may be like, you know what? Let's just wait this whole thing out. So it may take a year for this whole process to work itself out. Who knows? With these civil lawsuits and these crazy allegations. Tony Busby, he's looking to get a win after the Jay-Z loss. So, yeah, it's going to be crazy for Shannon Sharpe for now. But, yeah, eventually things should work itself out and he should have enough money to maintain. But it's his employees. Those are the people that are going to take a real hit.
Because at the end of the day, it's business. And if you're doing numbers, you're going to make money.
Oh, yeah.
We'll find
Should
out.
bounce
I mean,
back.
what you're saying is logical, but when it comes down to sponsorships and companies putting their name on a brand,
Yeah, it'll be certain companies. That
Well, I think
won't
so,
do it.
but you also got to look at who's been in business with him before, like because he might have been like a Rose Sparks or whatever those companies are like that. Like that came right after the IG Live thing.
Yeah,
right. It
which
was
was
the IG
crazy.
Live leaked, and before you know it, they were sponsored by an ED.
Right.
Drug company. So they're going to be
Same.
things to do it. I think it's probably in his best interest to be done with this quickly, though. Like, and it's one of those things where everyone has to make a decision on, do you want to fight to clear your name in public, or do you want to wrap this up so you can go about doing your business? It was very similar with the Deshaun Watson thing. I would probably bet if he could do it all over again, he probably would have broke it off early and just been like, hey, man, just give him the cash so we can go. Because what it did, it left a stain on him that he can never remove.
Yeah, with Shannon Sharpe, yeah, this is a huge stain. No matter how he tries to wash it off, people are always going to pull up those articles. They're going to see those text messages, those news reports. So, yeah, it's going to be tough for him to move forward from this. But, yeah, if he can speed this up, whatever he got to pay out, cool. But if she turned down $10 million behind the scenes, what more does she want? Does she want the whole 50? Does she want 20, 30? You got Tony Busby involved now. Don't know if he was involved with the $10 million potential payout. So if she turned that down, I don't think this is going to go away quickly. This could take a long time. So, yeah, again, he's going to take a major hit with a lot of sponsors and his current sponsors. And maybe he can bounce back in the near future and get some people on board. But it's important that he keeps his numbers up to at least, keep those sponsors in the mix and be like, you know what? We're going to keep an eye out, see how bad this gets, or maybe it can be a huge turnaround and he can start getting his money back again.
Whereas other people have moved beyond scandals by just being like, hey, man, let's wrap whatever this is, let's get this done and let's get out of it.
Yeah,
and then let's go
it's real
get on
talk.
the circuit and, look, make amends for whatever I missteps or whatever. And so he has to make that decision. But I understand because it was multiple and it was right before the reported big podcast deal was coming.
Yeah, 100.
100 mil. And then that big number that you talk about with the settlement or whatever, it's a big number. But then you have to do the calculation. How much is it going to cost me with attorney's fees and all this and all that to get this done? And sometimes it's cheaper to move beyond it and just say, you made a settlement. No one talks about it. Everyone signs their NDAs and then you move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's best case if things can move forward quickly. But again, if she turned down 10 after hearing that $100 million alleged deal that he may be working on, yeah, she wants as much money as possible. So, yeah, 50's being thrown out there. If she turned down 10, maybe she want 15, maybe she want 20. Tony Busby and his legal team, they got to get a cut too. They probably going to ask for about 30 or 35%. So, yeah, if she wants $10 million in actual cash after the fact, she's going to have to at least go for 15 to 20 after everybody get their cut, and she can at least go home with about 11 or 12. So it's going to be tough for Shannon Sharpe to move forward from this, and it's just crazy when the reports came out about that $100 million deal he was working on. All of a sudden, that report came out with the lawsuit. So maybe she knew behind the scenes what was going on. Maybe he was pillow talking, and maybe she was like, you know what? He talking about $100 million deal. Why are you offering me 10? I want 30. I want 40. You know what? Let's ask for 50. So Shannon Sharpe, man, he miscalculated this chick, man. Moving sloppy, moving dirty out there, and he's paying the price for it.
But see, Bucky, also there's a difference between Rose Sparks giving him a deal after a tape.
Oh yeah,
thing
I'm not saying this.
where there is no impropriety. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It just happened to be leaked, but she wasn't saying she got. You know what I mean? This girl saying she got. That's a whole different. That's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, I guarantee if that Instagram live video was something different where she didn't consent to that, yeah, it wouldn't be no Rose Sparks deal. That whole situation would have turned upside down. So not everybody's going to give him a bag or offer him a sponsor or a brand deal. Yeah, Rose Sparks, yeah, they came up on an opportunity. Yeah, you had that random live video. Whoops, an accident. Didn't know what happened. All right, here goes a bag. Go ahead and rep our product before your podcast, during your podcast, and screenshots and all that stuff. So, yeah, that whole Instagram live video really popped it off. I bet Shannon kind of regrets taking that deal only because it kind of makes him look a certain way. Like, did he release a potential fake Instagram live video just to get money? A lot of people can question his motives because of that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, was it real or manufactured? Like, hey, let me.
No, that was
put
a
this
setup.
up.
That
Right.
one, I think that was. Remember when Snoop said he was stopping the smoking?
Yeah.
And then it was like
Came out with those
He came out
smokeless
with smoke-
ashtrays,
Yeah.
smokeless fire pits.
Yeah, the fire pits.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that was the new endorsement.
So that seems.
So
like,
Shannon did that for sure.
It seems. That's
Yeah.
No,
it's
no, for
calculated.
sure. And look, I could be wrong. Sue me.
But that's what.
There's no way you can get the IG live.
The network probably knew about it too. Like, he
Yeah,
probably
that
told
was
them.
his creative way. Look, he is. Look, Shannon Sharpe is the king of like independent
He's
media.
completely reinvented himself. Like,
Yeah,
all that
him
stuff.
or Pat McAfee. Different ways to get to the top, but they at the top, and it doesn't come like easy. It doesn't come conventional. It comes like, oh, okay, how do I get these people? Like, remember he did the thing for the girls that Ocho's girlfriend or wife
Real.
has a new podcast. Remember he beefed with Ocho, fake
yeah.
beef with Ocho
to get them ratings.
to get the people saying, oh, I beef with him. Because Ocho said, oh, you going to do this and put my girl out on something I told you and asked you about it. And it turns out it was all just a ploy to get us all into it. Like,
Yeah, it's obvious that Instagram live video, that was fake. Come on, let's be real. You got to go through so many steps just to go live on Instagram. So, yeah, he does a lot of clout moves, and I think those type of moves, they kind of question Shannon Sharpe's character. Then the fake beefing with Chad Ochocinco and then his lady and then getting her on his media, Shay Media and the podcast. So he's done some things, a lot of cap, and I think it's coming back to bite him because a lot of people are like, is this real? Is he going to try to spin this to a different narrative and be like, try to get another sponsorship deal? But when you start dealing with these allegations, he can't spin that. So he can only do so much, do a lot of clout chasing. And again, I think it's coming back to bite him.
the opportunity cost is real. I'm not famous enough where my shit don't go like, it ain't going to crush my little empire that Shannon like, oh, my God. You're like, I'm Justin Tucker. Like, ain't nobody going to come kill me off of this. And we're like, and also, I'm going to own up to whatever it is, and I'm going to speak on it, and I'm not going to hide. And I think that Shannon is in a position right now where you're right. He has lost a lot. But he ain't lost it all. And he better. That's why I talk about it. People are like, well, you praying for his downfall. You're hoping you stepping on the black man down. I'm like, shut the fuck up. He ain't dead. And if he acts like you, no wonder you ain't in his position. Because people get scared when you down in the game. Like, dog, ball. The only way we going to win is if you make this next play. We ain't playing 4 quarters. We ain't playing the game. We playing the next play. And Shannon's next play has to be, this guy's to go.
Yeah, it's go time for Shannon. He really got to step up his game to a whole new level. Again, he got great contributors on Nightcap now, great rotation of former athletes and Club Shay Shay. A lot of dope interviews coming out. So he's pushing forward. He's moving through. And again, this lawsuit ain't going nowhere anytime fast. And he's going to have to kind of deal with this for at least the remainder of this year and possibly some of 2026. So hopefully he plays his cards right. Hopefully he has a good legal team. She turned down 10, so they want 50. Hopefully he don't have to break the bank and lose everything with the potential payout, or maybe he can prove his innocence. I'm hoping for that, especially if this is a false allegation. Hopefully he can prove that wrong and really try to defeat this whole lawsuit. So we'll see what happens moving forward with Shannon Sharpe.